guys, this is episode 1 of Storytime. Today we are going to be talking about my craziest roommate that I've had in my years of having roommates. So, start things off, this was during my senior year of college. I ended up coming back to my university. This was kind of nearing the end of the bad parts of COVID, so this was the end of 2021 going into 2022 year of school. I had a roommate where I was going back on campus to live, and he was a year younger than me. His name was Dennis. He was a Chinese international student. He was a grade below me, and we ended up getting paired together in this dorm room, and we just did not vibe well. And it came over time to that point, but in the beginning we were pretty close. I mean, not close, but we got along enough. But we ended up drifting apart probably 2/3 of the way through the year, and it was mainly me just kind of not being able to put up with his stuff anymore, with what he was doing. He was an interesting guy. I don't know if you guys know or if this is different in other schools. I went to the University of Washington, but like at that school, like when the international students come over, especially the Chinese international students, since they have tough names for us to pronounce, they usually have like an American name, and his American name was Dennis. So it was very interesting, and at first I was like, how could your name be Dennis? There's no way, bruh. And it's mainly just because that's the name he chose, which is a funny name to choose. But kind of things that he would do is he played a lot of video games. He was a hardcore gamer. Now, I've told you guys in a couple other videos that like I've just started getting back into games as I just got this gaming computer last month or so. And I've been playing games and whatnot. But back then, a few years ago, right? This is like almost 4 years ago now. I did not play video games at all. Like this was when I was just finishing up playing Call of Duty a couple years prior to that. And was just done with the whole gaming thing. It was driving me crazy. It was taking up too much of my time, and it was just not worth it for me to in that time. So I was focusing on school, playing guitar, the health and fitness thing. Those were my main priorities. And he was playing a lot of video games the entire time I was there, which is very distracting, if you could definitely know. Not only that, but he would even ask me to play games with him. So I did play a couple games with him, which was fun. And that's like also something we bonded with. We also bonded on playing music together. He played guitar, I played guitar, which was crazy. And that was fun. We both played like classical guitar together, which was cool. But it ended up getting a little out of control. I ended up getting annoyed with the whole playing games all night thing. I was someone that got up early, like around 5:30, and would get to the gym at 6. I would work out and then come back and eat and then go to class at 8:30 and then hopefully be done by like all my classes by noon or 1 o'clock. He was on the complete opposite schedule of me, and it was to his own, like it wasn't his classes. Like he would literally not go to his classes and he would just play games all day. He was one of those guys that was just very naturally smart and didn't really have to study that much to like do well. So it was very frustrating for me being someone that just had to study to do well and whatnot in college. Like he would literally just stay up and play games all night when I'm trying to go to bed like at 9, 10 o'clock, 10:30. And he's sitting there just screaming all night with his friends in China because that was the time he could play with them in China. And he was literally like yelling and screaming like when I'm trying to sleep, and you would have the lights all on, literally like it was freaking daylight out, and I'm trying to sleep, and I'm like, can we turn these lights off? And he'd be like, oh yeah, and then he would just like turn his lamps on, and then he would not be quiet and whatnot, and he could not control himself when it came to video games. He was a little out of control. He was addicted to him, and it was something that just got out of control for me. That was the main reason that we just did not mesh. It just was too much for me. Like I wasn't getting as much sleep as I wanted because he was staying up late. It was annoying. But going into this, there was a little falling out apart moment with about 2 months before we were completely done for the year and I would be graduating college. It got to the point where I had a friend that was a neighbor roommate, like in our dorm. And he had an extra bed in his room. Like his original roommate had moved out, so he just was living there by himself. And I went to him and I'm like, dude, Dennis is driving me crazy. I can't sleep. Or would you be okay in any way if I just come over at night and sleep in your other bed? Because this is just so out of control. I cannot sleep. Like, he's like, yeah, I totally get it. Like, he knew Dennis too. He knew like how loud he was because he would hear him too a little bit. And he was like this, and it's funny because he was a Chinese international student too. And he didn't really get along with Dennis as much as like me. But, yeah, so like he was like, yeah, dude, you're totally good. You can come over. So like I would start going over to my friend's room. His name was Peter. That was his U.S. name, his American name. And I would sleep at his room overnight because he would be on the same schedule as me, and we would go to the gym in the morning, and that was so nice. And Dennis took offense to that a little bit, of course, right? Because I'm like, dude, I just can't do this. And then he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to sleep over there, but I'll be back like in the mornings, like to come over here and get my stuff and whatnot. But I'm just going over there to sleep at nights now. And he's like, wow, I'm surprised you wouldn't have been a lot madder at me for how I've treated you. And I'm like, I was just holding everything in. I'm just like, yep, it's all right. It is what it is. So I kept moving on. And of course I was PO'd, right? But it came to the point where like 3 days after I had started like sleeping at my friend's dorm instead of my regular room, I noticed that other people's stuff, like some other guy's stuff, was like in my section of my room, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then I came in one day where I was going into my dorm in the morning, and there was a guy sleeping in my bed, and all of my stuff was pushed all over the room, and he had like essentially moved in. So my roommate Dennis had moved some other guy in, and I almost unleashed on him and let everything out, and I could not believe that this had actually happened. And it was insane. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Luckily I only had like 3 or 4 weeks left of the year, and I literally couldn't even fathom to talk to him. So I pretty much went the rest of that year without really talking to him. And I told him to not hit my stuff over and not move it, but I was literally about to unleash on him, guys. Like, I was about to freaking bring out the John Cena 5-knuckle shuffle on this guy. So it was crazy. I literally could not believe someone would move their friend into my bed after I left for like 2 or 3 days, and he didn't even tell me or ask me if he could do that. And I was going to be there most of the day too, in my own room. It was so bizarre. But that was the falling out I had with him, where I was just like, I just can't do it. But all those things together made him definitely my craziest roommate, my roommate that I did not get along with the most. But that's pretty much it, guys. I wanted to share the story. Hopefully you guys can sympathize in some way. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had interesting roommates. But yeah, he was definitely the craziest I've had. Hopefully the craziest I ever will have. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace out.